The Thames really is like a giant liquid storybook. I found everything from human remains, Roman pottery, messages in bottles, the list could go on. I mean, and there's a story behind every single one of those items. The term mudlarking dates back to pre-Victorian times, when small children, old ladies used to go around in the mud at low tide and look for anything they could find. So now, modern day mudlarks, we have our tide apps, we've got boots, we don't have to sell our finds luckily, but we all go down to the river at low tide and search for objects that may have been lost or thrown away from Londoners of the past. So I mean, when I'm looking for items on the Thames foreshore, I'm not looking for gold that I'm going to sell or make money from. The value for me is certainly in the story behind it. Really that sense of touching something that somebody who lived 300 or 400 years ago, maybe once upon a time, had in their pocket. It's that real connection. The things that we find along the River Thames tend to reflect the activities that went on along that part of the river. But it's tidal, the tide comes in and out. And also the mud of the Thames is anaerobic, so there's no oxygen in it, so anything that ends up in the mud is preserved in very good condition. For example, in southeast London, you know, there was a lot of boat building, ship building, military history. And on this one occasion, I was walking along and I saw something that looked a little bit like a tiny pineapple, but I recognised it as a grenade. They shut the River Thames, they also shut the footpath.
Forward! Forward!
Told you.
Bloody hell.
You're okay.
For the older finds, if I find something that I can't identify, I find that people just love to spend a bit of time doing some research and finding out the story behind the object. I remember one rainy day after work about 4 years ago, I came across a small brass luggage tag in the Thames mud. When I picked it up, I could see that there was a name engraved in it along with an address. So I put it out on Twitter to see if I could get any information on it. And it wasn't long before somebody got back to me and said, I found a Frederick Jury who used to live at 72 Woolwich Road in the early 20th century. And amazingly, all his war records were in there. And to bring him back to life for a time. And I even ended up finding out where he was buried, which was just around the corner from where I live. And it was quite a moving moment to find his final resting place. Think, gosh, you know, from one little find in the Thames mud. It just goes to show that we all leave a story, I think, you know. And it's very, very special to be able to bring some of those stories back to life and find out what these people went through, how they lived, through a simple find in the Thames mud.